Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from T&J, and make sure you hit that like button. We're here for the off season, and let's just do a quick recap of the last 3 seasons. In season 1, we did not make the conference championship, but we did end up playing Louisiana Tech in a bowl, and we ended up winning. Second year, though, we won the Mountain West Conference Championship. Then we went on to play Kansas State in the Fiesta Bowl, and we won that one 2-0 going into season 3 when we moved to the Pac-12, where we saw a lot of new competition, and we had some ups and downs. We lost to West Virginia earlier in the year, but we came through when it mattered in the bowl game and ended up beating them on a game-winning field goal. So hopping straight into coaching changes here, our offensive coordinator actually, just like that, turned his career around and is now the head coach at Nevada. That's actually really surprising. He got fired from his last job, got hired by us, and then immediately gets hired at Nevada. And it looks like our new offensive coordinator got fired from Minnesota, PJ Fleck. And you can see we have 27 upgrades for him for an offensive coordinator. That's just amazing. So he's coming in with a ton of upgrades here. Let's just look at around our conference here. Looks like Chris Peterson got an extension. Everybody got an extension, so nobody got fired. So that's a good sign, I think. Let's just look at the ACC really quick. Did anybody get fired? Nope, nobody got fired there. What about the ACC? Let's see if anybody got a new job. Well, North Carolina got a new coach. Looks like Syracuse and Pittsburgh. So no real big teams lost anybody, except, Minnesota. We get the new offensive coordinator, Bud Foster. So it looks like he does run with the Western Michigan playbook. So he will be switching over to that offense. And he did coach, I believe, 3 years at Western Michigan before moving over to Minnesota. And in real life, this is his second year as a head coach there. So he is our new offensive coordinator. So we actually have enough points to max out on everything for him in the offensive coordinator category. So wow, we're getting a huge boost here. So this is a sad moment right here. We do hop into the action here as we see our players leaving. Tyler Nevins, our best rated guy on our entire roster, 91 overall, our first 90 overall player on this squad in this dynasty, and he's leaving. Hope, our center, is leaving. Jonathan Leonard Jr. is leaving. Nehemiah Shelton, Caleb Oaks. I mean, so many guys. We can just go position by position here. You can see we have at least one guy at pretty much every position. Lyles and Trey Walker. Lyles was actually rated higher than Trey Walker this whole time. I had no idea. Billy Humphreys and Blackwell, so we only have one tight end now. Our left tackle, 2 left tackles are leaving. Our center is leaving. I mean, just so many guys. Cameron Alexander's graduating. Trey Jefferson. I mean, all of our defensive tackles. I mean, you can just see what we're going to have to replace. Tyson Parker, 3 cornerbacks and 2 safeties. 3 safeties. I mean, this is just a lot of graduating as we're going to have to replenish here. So we did not have any players drafted, but let's just look at the transfers. Do we have transfers? We have one, but he's only 59 overall, but he's 6'8", 255. I mean, this guy is massive, but I don't even know if he'll make our team at all. I mean, look at him. He's not good at all. 65 speed. He does have the size, but man, he can block. I mean, this guy might be able to be, well, I mean, he has low pass blocking and run blocking, but he has high impact blocking. Maybe I'll just have him in on goal line situations. Maybe, I don't know. I don't even think he'll even make the team, but that's our only transfer this year. I'm surprised. So looking at us now, we are the 95 ranked recruiting class, and look who we're behind. We're actually behind Coastal Carolina, our old team, but you can see we're doing pretty well with our overall offense and defense right now. You can see those are the numbers from last year. Those don't kind of recognize this year's roster, but I mean, we had a kind of a down year in recruiting. I mean, you can see Jordan was our top guy, but we have a ton of defensive backs, so we're pretty much short up there. So not a lot of offense in this recruiting class, as we have Hayoli Managa, who we really want at middle linebacker, because we want kind of a guy who's going to take over for Isaac Tagia when he moves on. So we definitely want to put some points on him. We definitely need a kicker, and one of these 2 guys I'm going to try to get to sign with us. Sean Anderson is an interesting defensive tackle. He's kind of a younger guy. You know, we don't have many defensive tackles coming in. We have Sherman Kurtz, who's going to start. I mean, he's going to start. I mean, there's nobody else there at D tackle. I'm probably going to switch some positions around to get some D tackle help. And then we have another safety, Ricky Langford. So we have a lot of defensive backs coming in, and hopefully, you know, some of these guys pop, because obviously I'm going to have to redshirt a couple of these guys, but we're going to need to get some help there. Let's just divvy up these points. So here's what the final numbers are going to look like. Managa's going to get 6,000. We're going to go all in on him pretty much. He's got high hit power. I didn't realize he was that big of a hitter. Greg Dukes, actually, we're going to put 1,000 on him. We're ahead by, let's see, we're ahead by about 1,800. And Curtis Holly, we're ahead by 1,600. So we need to get one of those two guys. I think 1,000 should be enough to get at least one. Sean Anderson, we're going to put 1,000 on. I do really want this guy from Reno, Nevada. But, you know, he's probably not going to play this year. I can't see him playing. But we do also have Sherman Kurtz, obviously. So we do want to keep our options open. And then Ricky Langford, I'm going to put 1,000 on him. We are in pretty much a deadlock with Utah. So hopefully they just don't go after him and we end up with him. So let's see how we do. So we do end up getting some good news. So we end up beating out UCLA by 3,000. So good thing we did put 6,000 on that just for insurance. So we get a 4-star prospect. That's going to boost our class up. Rusimov commits to Boise State. We weren't even in the running. But Ricky Langford, I'm surprised Utah didn't even go after him as we get him to commit. But unfortunately, Sean Anderson does move on to Maryland. So he goes from Nevada to Maryland. But then look at this. Curtis Holly and Greg Dukes don't even commit anywhere. I wonder if they're going to end up on a roster. This actually happens in the game. I don't know like what exactly happens there. They just choose not to play football or what, but they don't commit. So actually, those two recruits that we just got boosted us up to 39 ranked. But look, this total went way up. Now we have 18 prospects signed. But look at this. We have a top quarterback, Burns signed. I mean, D. Martin signed. Johnson, Thomas, Hollins, Dean, Carlson. A whole lot of guys that I don't even recognize. They weren't even on our board. And we get a bunch of commits. So look at this. We went from 95 to 39. That is just amazing. And look at that. We are now a 4-star prestige school. That's just amazing. So this was actually one of our walk-ons now. Looking at Ike Burns. He's a 4-star walk-on. I guess he really wanted to come to San Jose State. But you look at his numbers. I mean, they're not great. 75 throw power, 72 throw accuracy. He's definitely going to get the red shirt. But, I mean, hey, if he wanted to commit to our school, I'll take him. Then we get 2 walk-on running backs as well. The number 86 and number 36 running back. One from California, one from Hawaii. And you can just see their numbers. They're not that great. I mean, this guy has 75 acceleration. I'm not even sure that he's even going to stick around at all. Dale Martin, I'm probably going to redshirt him and see what he can develop into. He's not too bad. He's got 76 elusiveness. Let's see what else he does well. He has horrible carrying right now, and I don't really see him even touching the field, so he's probably going to get the red shirt. So this is where it gets interesting. We have 5 walk-on receivers, as look at this. They're all pretty well rated too, coming in as walk-ons. The top guy, Mark Harrell, he's 69 overall, and you know what? He's probably going to play. Because if you look behind him, I mean, we have 4 starting receivers here. And behind him, I mean, he's got a bunch of freshmen that aren't even close to him. So let's just look at all their ratings. Looks like Harrell is the fastest out of all these guys. Let's see the catching rating. So Harrell can't catch really, though. It's the only thing. He's 68 catching. Dean is 72 catching. It looks like he's the best catching out of the bunch. And then Scott Hollins is the best route runner out of these freshmen. But it's actually really funny to see all these guys. I mean, all these guys do something different, too. Troy Thomas has the highest jumping. Spectac, it looks like Harrell's up there. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to lean towards Harrell here. Everybody else probably is going to get redshirted. I'm surprised to see this many receivers. So it looks like we have a walk-on JUCO here, but he's only 55 overall. I cannot see him even making the squad. I honestly can't. He's going to be a junior, and he's not even going to get in. One guy I do want to highlight here is a couple of guys at defensive end that are coming off of redshirt status. One is Luther Bridges, and he's 67 overall, but he's in a tight race at right end. You can see everybody's close here. And let's just look at left end. You can see Terrence Miller is probably going to be starting, and then Jamar Hardy is going to be rotating on both ends. Maybe I could start Jamar Hardy at the right end position. Let's just look at his numbers compared to the others. So Jamar Hardy is 82 hit power, 73 pass rush, 81 finesse moves, and 74 block shed. That's actually pretty good. So I'm actually going to switch that over to right end. But one guy I do want to highlight here at right end is this guy, James Jackson Jr. He's got a high finesse moves, and we do need pass rushing. So I'm actually looking out for him to be one of those guys to emerge from the pack. Right now, Jamar Hardy is starting. I do want to start him right now and just get him that, basically that senior leadership on the defensive line. Kind of the same that we had from guys like Cameron Alexander and also Jalen Nelson. Now that I look back at James Jackson Jr., I look at the linebackers, and I forgot that Tyson Parker actually did graduate. We have Andre Armstead at the left outside linebacker. We have Michael Cummings and Ncaa at the middle linebacker. But then we have a hole here. And Ali Matau is a senior at right outside linebacker, but he's not the greatest of pass rushers. Let's just look at their pass rushing moves. He's only 70 finesse moves, 71 block shed. And then behind him is Adam Murphy, who's got a high acceleration, but he doesn't have anything else that's great. So you know what? I'm actually going to move James Jackson Jr. over to right outside and see how he develops, because I want to see him in pass rushing situations. He only moves over to only a 60 overall. But honestly, that finesse moves being so high, I could see him being just a specialist at pass rush on the left side of the defense. So this is our defensive back group before training. You see JoJo Forrest is actually the highest rated guy. Trey White is probably going to surpass that. But I just don't know about Trey White. He gave up a lot of big plays last year. I just don't know. One guy I do want to start, though, is Parker Gast. I mean, this guy is pretty good in coverage, and he's actually a pretty good tackler as well. Our best tackling cornerback, and I'm actually excited to see him out on the field more this year. I think he's going to play the slot role because I want him more in zone coverage and to recognize plays more, because he can tackle up in the box as well. So I'm definitely going to probably play him in the slot. But another guy I want to look at here is our athlete here in Andrew Jordan. He's going to start wherever he plays. I'm pretty sure at that. And I kind of like him at cornerback right away. Let's look at our safeties really quickly. Marcus Daniels, remember we recruited him last year. We redshirted him. I think he's ready to start. No doubt in my mind. This guy is a gamer. And look at him. He's got high zone, high man for a safety, high play recognition, good pursuit. Let's look at his tackling. What is his tackling at? 64. So he can use some work there. But everything else is right on point. And then we do have Deshaunte Burney backing him up, and I think that he's actually might get the red shirt. But looking at strong safety, we have two big guys here in James Will Smith, who actually has 96 awareness. So he's actually going to be one of our smart guys on the field. We're going to need that awareness. But then we have Michael Bailey, who's a thumper. He's 79 tackling, so he's our best tackling safety. But then we have Andrew Jordan here. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to play him at cornerback. And you know what? He might be our #1 cornerback right away. So let's switch him over to cornerback and then go into training. So a lot of good things came out of training here this year. Drayvon Jennings goes up 6 overall, +4 in accuracy. You can see he was the highest, raised quarterback. Kasiri Robinson went up +7 as a junior. But I definitely think that Denzel Knox is going to be the bell cow. You can see he has higher strength by pretty much a big margin. And I think he's just ready. 83 trucking, 75 elusiveness. He's not as elusive as, say, Jay Taylor, who's coming in at 95 elusiveness now in his sophomore year. But, I just like Denzel Knox. He's got the size, and I think he's going to be the starter. At receiver, you can see only had 4 receivers that could train. Carl Wolf goes up quite a bit. Matt Pollard's already 99 catching. Raheem Akusi goes up a little bit as well. And I actually like the improvement I see from Jamal Taylor here. He goes up +4 in catching. We're going to need that. Looking at our offensive linemen here, this is probably our weak spot of our team right now, as Noah Ballesteros actually goes up 7 overall. That's a huge improvement. Let's just see what he went up in. Pass block +5, run block +4, and impact block +4. And that's a pretty good offseason. At the right guard now, look at this. I mean, we're actually doing pretty good. Bull had a good year last year. He's at 99 awareness at right guard. Joe Johnson, to me, is the MVP, the unspoken MVP of this team. He only gave up 2 sacks the whole entire, I believe it was 2 or 4. I believe it was 2. And, I mean, at right tackle, that's pretty unprecedented. Looking at Terrence Miller, he had a pretty good offseason. He went up +5 overall. He's at 79 and going into his junior season. 88 block shed, 85 power moves. Looking at Jamar Hardy, he goes up +5 going into his senior season at 85 overall. He's got +5 hit power at 87 now, 85 finesse moves. I just want to look to see. I did move Neil Bonds over to defensive tackle just to give us some help there. And you know what? Neil Bonds might actually have a chance to start right now. He and Sherman Kurtz are going to be competing for playing time for sure. I didn't realize that he would go up that much. But looking at Andre Armstead, let's look at what he's gone up in pass rushing skills. I definitely want to see his improvement. And it looks like he only went up +2 in finesse and +5 in block shed. So that's pretty good. I'll take that one. But I want to see actually what James Jackson Jr. did. So he actually went up to only 64 overall, but he's got 89 acceleration, 85 speed, I believe that said. Let's just look at his pass rushing moves. I must have passed it here. So he's at 83 finesse moves. I'm actually really interested to see that speed off of the edge and to see what he can do. And then cornerbacks here, you can see a bunch of guys went up a little bit. Nobody really separated themselves from the pack. Let's look at Parker Gast, everybody. Let's look at everybody in coverage. So he went up to 87 in zone, 72 in man. That's actually pretty good. I like to see that. 86 play recognition. That's really good. He's definitely earning his spot there. Marcus Daniels, who's going to be the starting safety now. 2 different starting safeties. Let's see what he went up in tackling. I know he was a poor tackler. Only +1. That's actually really surprising there. But he goes up in zone and man. And then James Will Smith, he goes up to 99 awareness now. And looking at him in coverage, he is pretty good. Not too great, but not too bad either. He's at 75 tackling too. So we didn't really need to cut anybody here. Our roster size is actually below 70 as we had a ton of graduating seniors. We are going to make a couple cuts here. I'm going to cut this walk-on here, Jermaine Carlson. I just don't see him even touching the field at all. And I don't see a point of even having him on our team. A couple of these receivers I am going to cut. I mean, we don't need this many guys. Will Johnson, Troy Thomas. Honestly, they're both not going to make the team. I mean, their acceleration is way too low for me, and they're both going to get cut here. They did walk on, so that's the risk you take. I'm going to redshirt the remaining 2 guys here and then carry 5 active receivers. I am going to cut David Burns. He did walk on. He is a JUCO defensive tackle. Don't really need him. So just to balance out the conferences here now to move on to custom conferences, we did add Boise State to our conference. So now we have an even amount of teams in the conference. Also, I did move Notre Dame to the ACC. I figured since they're there in basketball, I could probably do it here as well, just getting them inside of a conference. So those are the only 2 moves we're making here. So we're going to go all in this year with our schedule, and we're going to play some teams that, we probably have never played in any one of my dynasties. And that's what I kind of want to do. I want to keep it fresh and play new teams. So in our off-conference games, we're actually going to play Baylor, and Baylor is actually number 14 in the nation in this. So we are going to play them at home. Then we're going to go on the road and play Ole Miss, an SEC school. So that's going to be our one SEC school we're playing this year. But then we actually do play another one, Florida, but this time we're going to the Swamp, and we're playing at Florida in the second to last game of the year. And then another SEC school as we play South Carolina at home to end the season. This is a tough schedule, and you can just see we play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 preseason ranked teams, and actually, 2 of those teams are actually in our conference, Stanford and USC, Actually, 3 are Arizona. There's Arizona. So, yeah, we're actually starting out pretty tough. And the reason why I want to do this is because, A, I want to challenge, and B, if we want to get that national notoriety, we want to get considered for that national championship, we got to beat the tough teams. So that's what we're going to do this season. So to end this episode, I'm just going to go through the red shirts here and just go through our redshirted guys. Dale Martin, one of those walk-on running backs, he's going to get redshirted. And like I said, I'm going to keep Harrell unredshirted because he's going to be the 5th wide receiver there. But you know what? I actually might not even have him at wide receiver because Jay Taylor's actually going to play some wide receiver as well. He's our backup running back, and he's going to be playing some wide receiver as well as Kasiri Robinson. So both of those guys are going to be playing a lot of receiver. But you know my rule, I do not redshirt anybody but freshmen. So if I don't have any freshmen here, I mean, I'm just skipping through all these positions, and that's what it's going to look like. I think I'm going to redshirt Managa just because I know he's not going to play this year, and Isaac Tagia is going to be in his spot. So I actually am going to redshirt him just so that we have another 4 years of eligibility after Isaac Tagia leaves. Let's just see if there's any other freshmen. So we do have cornerbacks. I forgot about these guys. So Trey White, he is our best rated cornerback, but he's not going to play. I don't think he's. I just don't trust him anymore. He gives up a lot of big plays. He is our fastest cornerback, but I just don't trust him. Jordan's going to be the number 1 cornerback going into the season. I don't know who I'm going to start on the left side of the field. It's probably going to right away be Josh Hemphill. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure here, but it's going to be between Josh Hemphill and JoJo Forrest, because JoJo Forrest is actually an all-around coverage guy, and he has high play recognition. So he's going to be a guy that can start right away. Maybe starting 2 freshmen might be the move. I don't know. We'll have to see. Elijah Taylor, I'm going to redshirt Elijah Taylor, and mainly because, you know, I don't know what our cornerback situation is going to look like in the future, and I do want to keep him kind of, you know, fresh and redshirted with another 4 years of eligibility. Jeff Gibbons is another guy. He's probably going to get redshirted too. I don't know what my plans are with him, but he's just another guy. Sammy Baldwin's a pretty good guy in coverage. I really like Sammy Baldwin, but I do want to save that eligibility and just see what he can do. He's got 80 man right out of the gate, which is pretty good. So I want to see what he can do and redshirt him. So at safety, Deshaunte Burney's actually going to stay unredshirted just because I know that it's Marcus Daniels' first year starting, and he might just be a bust. You never know. So I want to keep Deshaunte Burney actually unredshirted, and also Ricky Langford. I'm going to keep him non-redshirted as well because Michael Bailey, this is going to be his first time getting playing time. James Will Smith as well. So I don't know what is going to happen there at safety, and maybe even bringing over one of these cornerbacks. You never know. One of these guys that are redshirted here, or even some of these guys in the middle, Hemphill, Clarence Grant, and Parker Gast. Parker Gast especially might play some safety as well. So that's going to be it for this episode. Remember, we didn't get any kickers as well. Kickers are punters, so we do have to recruit that going into next season. But that's going to be it for this episode. Let me know what you guys think of all of those walk-on freshmen, and then just like the young secondary we have. I mean, a lot of new stars that we're going to have. Just let me know what you guys think. Hit subscribe, hit that like button. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Thanks for watching. Let's go.